Hi gang, this is Mike G from Mr. GTV and MrMikeGone.com, sharing the best kept secrets in mentalism, which is all about controlling mentality. And the government, as you've probably heard me said before, is all about controlling mentality. The actual word government means to govern your mentality. So the best kept secret is that a mentalist has control of your attention and creates what's called a dual reality. I've been working with mentalism as an entertainer probably for 20 years. I am a clinical psychologist, qualified, degree level. I do hypnosis and hypnotherapy, corporately, clinically, holistically. I have put on many entertaining events corporately, for charities, for companies, to raise awareness of the mind and potentiality of human fulfillment. In other words, what you're capable of achieving, which is hidden from us. And when I do these entertainment events, I usually have a theme. I talk about energy and health, or psychic stuff, or for corporate it's all about self-management, goal achievement, potentiality, increasing performance, for profit mainly, so that people can be successful in business. And I demonstrate this using mentalism. So many years ago I went and joined an organisation called Performing Magically, 21st Century Magic, and spent a lot of money training myself on mental techniques, learning the art of deception, illusion, what's called sleight of mind. Not sleight of hand, sleight of mind. And this concept of dual reality gives the performer, me or anybody else, Darren Brown, David Blaine, to name a few, and one that's very good that I like at the moment called Spidey, the opportunity to present something and what's going on stage with the participant, with the volunteer, maybe the subject, how they perceive what's happening to them and what the audience is actually seeing is two completely different things. And this creates this sleight of mind, this deception of perception, and you end up with a wonderful magical illusion. If anybody wants to know more about this, then we need a chat one-to-one. And this is exactly what's going on at the moment by the best deception masters at the moment, the government, who by etymology are governing your mentality. And they're getting us arguing and looking at things that aren't important, like, was Boris Johnson at a meeting or was it a party? And it seems to be that, you know, if you have a meeting and there's a cake, it's a party, and if you have a meeting and there's no cake, it's a works meeting. And I've got my own views on it, because I'm not a fan of Boris or anybody particularly in government. I think, well, you probably know what I think, I won't go into it. I'm into personal power, not politics. I think politics is divisive and it's not there to benefit the people, and we don't live in a democracy, but that's another subject. But while they've got us looking at cake, no cake, party, no party, did he deceive Parliament, did he not deceive Parliament, did he say this, did he say that, and all the other stuff that's going on, we're not looking at the big stuff, which is that this government and globally these elites have removed our freedom of speech, our rights to physical autonomy. They've changed legislation, they've changed society, they've completely reset the world, and yet we're arguing and we're watching, you know, did he do it once, did he do it 5 times, what are the police going to do about the fact that he attended a party with a cake and he had a drink? And everybody's talking about it. They're not talking about the fact that they locked down the country for 2 years and bankrupted everybody. Most people are accepting that. We're not talking about the big issues like the Ukraine war. We're just accepting what the BBC and Sky News are telling us, and it's sort of become normal while everybody's up in arms about a cake. Do you understand what I'm talking about? And there's so many examples where they put something into the news, like the Will Smith slap, or they'll highlight one thing and all the headlines are about that one thing. You only have to look at the red top newspapers, not the broadsheets. In other words, the everyday newspapers like the Sun and, you know, the Daily Mirror. I mean, they're all as bad as each other, but the ones that everybody reads, the general working masses, and they'll put something on about Katie Price, and all the magazines, or like the Will Smith thing, or Johnny Depp thing, or, you know, whatever is the most popular thing in the celebrity world, which is of no consequence and not really at all of interest or global significance, weighing it up against the many serious things that are going on, and they're not reporting on the big stuff that's going on, which is, you know, the change in legislation and the tax stuff that's going on and the financial stuff that's going on and the global tyranny that's going on, that really is something to talk about and something to focus on. And this is dual reality, and this is a mentalist trick. And you've got to realise that the British government, I know, employed Spy B, which is a government advisor. They are called a behavioural insights team, and they put in memes on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all these other platforms, Snapchat, and quite often they're creating fake members, fake accounts that will ask a question, and they are getting people's views. What do you think about this? Or they'll put a headline up, what do you think about this, comment on this, and they're finding out what public opinion is, whether or not people are interested. They'll put a celebrity thing, thousands of likes, and then they'll put up something political that is really life-changing and financially crippling if it was introduced. And because there's no interest, because everybody's looking over here while they do this over there, dual reality, they realise that they can manipulate us by asking these questions on social media by these fake accounts that are the government, Spy B, and other organisations. There's one called Common Purpose. And there's politicians who are posting, and we're following politicians, aren't we, on what's the other, Twitter? And they're looking at the public's response, and we are responding, and we're actually giving them the information that they need to either stop something or do something. And we've got to read between the lines. We've got to ask who benefits and follow the money and where this is going, and why is something being suggested now, which is called predictive programming, through soaps, through the media, through the news, like Boris Johnson's plan B, we know, he talks, well, we don't want to do this. And the fact that he's actually saying we don't want to do it is predictive programming. It's the thin end of the wedge to the fact that he definitely is going to do it. He definitely is going to do it. And just look then, because a chicken ran across the road. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because he wanted to get to the other side. This is happening all the time. And this is called dual reality. And the other thing is, when I'm doing mentalism, I can't always guarantee live with an unpredictable subject, client, volunteer on stage that they're going to accept the force. In other words, where I do something and they think they've got a choice, but I'm actually psychologically suggesting that they choose the one that I want them to choose to create the effect, or that they're going to pick up on the subliminal embedded command, which is hypnotic techniques, which I use and I'm quite good at doing, and it's stuff that I use in therapy, clinically, holistically, spiritually, but also in mentalism entertainment forums to raise money and awareness. And so I can't fail on stage. So if they don't pick up the first cue, the first suggestion, the first embedded command, I've got to have an alternative. And it's called multiple outs, multiple outcomes. And don't think that the government hasn't got hundreds of people with access to all these platforms to find out public opinion, and they haven't anticipated a public outcry or not, a protest, a demonstration, an objection, or the fact that the public just ignore it and they get away with it. They've got plan A, they've probably got plan B, plan C, plan Z. They've got more than a dual reality, they've got multiple realities, and also they're playing the long game, unlike you and me at the moment. A lot of people struggling to find petrol money, struggling to put food on your plate and to feed your family and keep them warm, and all these elderly that are probably shivering looking at these newspapers and reading this by torchlight with 3 jumpers on in the dark, while these elites, the government governing your mentality, use all these devious mentalism techniques, dual reality, multiple outs, psychological profiling, insight teams, NLP in every presentation, neuro-linguistic programming with 3-phrase logos and slogans and catchphrases that you've heard repeat endlessly until we're using them, the new normal, the great reset, leveling up. I mean, I'm sure you know many more, but I'm driving now, watching for chickens, so those just come to mind. And they're setting us up for what's happening next. They've got a long-term plan, and the whole of the reset that was, you can Google Agenda 21, you can Google the 2030 reset, 2020-2030 reset, and see how it's being rolled out. And I guarantee that the government are rubbing their hands with glee, never thought they'd be so far ahead of the game. And the fact that at the moment they've released restrictions because of the C word, the C-19, which the fact that I can't even say that openly, because I know that I could get deleted or suspended, which I have been. I mean, just that alone, the fact that you have got to guard what you say on your own ability to speak freely on Facebook, you're not free to speak now. That's something more of concern than did Boris have a cake at the meeting or not, and how many cases of wine did he have. So don't be fooled. Don't allow them to pull the wool over your eyes. Don't look this way, which is where they're pointing. Look the other way. Look at what they're hiding. Read between the lines. They've got multiple outs. Anticipate these. And if you say to yourself, well, you know, Mike, I can't be bothered, you know, okay, you worry about that, I'll just get on with my life. Are you getting on with your life? And is it fair that you settle because you've decided that you can't be bothered? Maybe you're at that stage of your life where life's good and you think, well, you know, I'm okay, Jack. Think about future generations. Think about your kids, your grandkids, and how your life was and how new life is becoming. Because to me, this new normal is so abnormal. And although I teach that you should live in your own bubble and create your own reality, and I am a mentalist, a hypnotist, a life coach, a Reiki master, and I work with consciousness and energy, trust me, the people who are running and orchestrating this shit show are master manipulators of consciousness, energy, and that's another subject which I might talk to you about if you want to know also, because if you need a chat, I'm here for that. Don't be misled. Open your eyes, wake up and see what's going on. Smell the coffee, as they say. Be powerful, enjoy your mind. Hope you've enjoyed this. Check back for more, like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, God bless.